parking lot, MI Homes of Ohio LLC, 4131 Worth Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43219, dated 1/2/2024, submitted with application file 1/12/24. Exhibit 3, Berlin Farms legal description, 3 pages, submitted with application file 1/12/2024. Exhibit 4, plat plans and elevation of the model home and parking, 6 pages, submitted with application file 1/12/2024. Exhibit 5, landscape plans, exterior lighting with specs, and 5 pages, submitted with application file 1/12/2024. Exhibit 6, properties and address of parcels within 300 feet, 2 pages, submitted with application file 1/12/2024. Exhibit 7, marketing and signage with specs and colors, 19 pages, submitted with application file 1/12/2024. And then the zoning office exhibits. Exhibit 8, aerial view of surrounding property owners within 300 feet and addresses dated 2/7/2024. Exhibit 9, request for publication in the Delaware Gazette via email dated 2/7/2024. Exhibit 10, notice of hearing to applicant dated 2/12/2024. Exhibit 11, letter to adjacent only 2 property owners dated 2/12/2024. And the final exhibit 12, proof of publication in the Delaware Gazette dated 2/10/2024.
Thank you. So the Berlin Township Zoning Code, Section 8. We're looking at Section 8.04, letter C for conditional uses. Our applicant tonight is here for model homes. Under C, it says model homes of subdivision, the same being defined as a residential type structure used as sales offices by builder developers and to display the builder developer's product. The same may be furnished with, since it is the purpose to display to prospective buyers, the builders / developers features such as exterior siding, treatments, roofing materials, interior trim, moldings, floor coverings, etc. In the environment of completed home, model homes may be staffed by the builders / developer sales force. Model homes shall be subject to the following restrictions. Lighting, all exterior lighting must be downlighting so that no light shall be cast onto adjoining residential properties. All off-street parking areas must be eliminated. All exterior lighting except security lighting shall be extinguished at the closing time of the model home. Number 2, parking. All model homes shall provide off-street paved parking for the public. Such off-street paved parking shall be located as directed by the Board of Zoning Appeals. The number of required parking spaces shall be a minimum of 6 per model home. The driveway of the model home may be utilized for not more than 2 parking spaces. Screening and trash receptacles. Landscape drawings shall be required and show adequate landscaping and screening from adjoining lots, together with clear marking of boundaries of the model home lot. Trash receptacles shall be provided around the model home for public use. Termination of use. A temporary showroom or display model that is used for marketing purposes by a commercial home builder during the sales period of new residential development. For the purpose of this resolution, a model home loses its status as a marketing tool after 5 years from its opening date, or 90% of total zoning permits within the development are issued, or whichever comes first. However, the model home usage may continue at permitted use within the commercial zoning district. Model homes may be converted to permanent residence at the end of their use as a marketing location, provided they meet all zoning and building codes for occupancy. No building equipment or materials may be stored at the model home. Model home signs allowed as approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals and may not exceed 16 square feet per side, with 32 square feet maximum total display, and an overall height of 4 feet above grade. So, if you would please stand and state your name. Court reporter.
My name is Amy Gottesman with MI Homes, address 4131 Worth Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43219.
So, thank you for being here tonight. We've had a chance to look over your application. We'd just like to have you walk through that with us. You've answered some of the questions here. To each of the 6 questions I just read, we'd like to go through those with you, and so that the board can ask any questions as we go through it.
Absolutely. I was here last summer, I think it was, for our Berlin farm, which is on the east side of Volton Pie, for the same concept, and I basically mirrored that, so hopefully this is consistent in the same format as what was presented before. We're really happy to be part of the Berlin Township community. We've sold 60 houses so far, and we're just now getting busy for the springtime, so we look forward to getting this model going, and now having this will be then in the Long Hill, or on the western side. We'll be on model home over there, so we're excited to get after it.
Great. So as we walk through your application, the first thing we have to consider is lighting.
Yeah, I got the exterior lighting tab, which should hopefully show you the different fixtures we have in the parking lot plan. The posts that are in the parking lot, rather. These are the same fixtures that are in our Berlin farm model as well.
Any questions from the board on the lighting package presented? No? The second question would be on parking.
You can see in the plot plan parking, or plot plan exhibit, you can see the second sheet on there. You can see the 6 parking spots, one of which is a handicap spot. We wouldn't be using the model home driveway as a parking lot. All 6 spots would be on the adjacent lot.
Thank you. Screening and trash receptacles.
So that is going to be on the landscaping plan, which is the exterior lighting and landscaping plan. You can see the landscaping included, and then trash receptacle is at the bottom. I don't know orientation, it's the eastern side, but the bottom of it, there's a little theta, I guess that shows where the trash receptacle is located.
Thank you. Any questions from the board on the screening and trash receptacles? Termination of use.
So that's one that there's nothing to look at except for in my memo. My one question, do you know, is that something I can come back for and ask for basically this all over again? I obviously can't predict the sales over the next 5 years and what interest rates are going to do, and we have 490 some sales to go. So presumably I'm going to need more than 5 years. So what the rules are for that?
So I haven't had that question before, but I'll just read this again. So a model home loses its status as a marketing tool after 5 years from opening date, or when 90% of total permits within a development are issued, or whichever comes first. However, the model home usage may continue if it is a permitted use within a commercial zoning district. So I would say if you get to 5 years from now and you haven't sold out, according to this, you could come back for another application.
That's good.
But wouldn't you also want to redo, have another one, because it's gonna be outdated in 5 years?
Super valid question. Yeah, we have, it's the cost versus benefit, and so, but yeah, very
Isn't there
valid.
like kind of design phases with this part
Correct.
anyway?
So this is for the product that is distinctly different from what our current model is. So this is kind of what we're selling on the western side of the subdivision, so, but to your point, yeah, we may in 5 years say time for a refresh, but, and we reserve lots, we call them window lots up front, so that we don't get into a pickle where we have no lots left to put them on.
Quick question.
Uh-oh.
This is kind of nitpicking, but sometimes typos cost us in the long run. And I brought this up on line 4 there, it says that the permits and issues, or I'm sorry, 90% of the subdivision or after 5 years, which means forever, basically. You can clean that up once it's 5 years from the start date. Because after 5 years, the way it's written.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is just my memo, I don't know if that's bound, or I think I'm still bound to the zoning code, but yeah, if you feel you need that, bring that up.
Whatever the permanent record reflects, and like that, 5-year limit.
So just to follow up, so we have it on record, so Larry's question, you would agree that it's, that you could use it as a marketing tool for 5 years from its opening date? Thank you. Number 5 is, do you plan on keeping any building equipment or materials stored at the model home? And number 6, your model home sign, you could walk us through that.
Yeah, so that's going to be obviously the marketing and signage tab. On page, the 3rd tab that says information sign is an example of what we would expect to have in the front yard of the model.
Just have one question for you on the sign. Capital community sign. Where is that going to be mounted?
It's already,
Sorry.
so that's more, that, I just gave you the whole marketing packet, that's really more for the entrance of the community, which is separate from the model. So those are already up, both at Berlin Farm and on Berlin Farmhouse. And then we actually been really liking the 2nd parking sign with the future homeowner spots. I think those are cute. And typically on the brochure box, we've been mounting those right on the house, has been the best application of those to do the post. And then in the front of the house, there'll be a little model name icon so people know which floor plan they're walking into. So when they're looking at 5 or 6 models on a weekend, they hopefully can remember, take a picture, remember which one they were looking at. That's where we go.
No, the sale flags,
I don't think those are permitted in Berlin Township.
right. Okay. But they were in your packet.
Yeah, I just, be inclusive in case your rules change someday, and you want to be the flag capital of America, then you got it. In here is what they would look like.
Thank you. Any other questions for our applicant on their application?
We do have a letter that we probably need to read in from the township fire department.
Lisa, did you receive a copy of this?
Yeah. Number 13.
Would you please enter that as an exhibit? And did you get a copy of this as well?
10 minutes ago.
Any questions or concerns or comments on? So this will be added to your application as, this would have to be met.
Yeah, I'll take it up with the chief. I'm not exactly sure what they want an exit sign office entry point. I assume that means on the inside of the office, not the outside. But that's kind of to Larry's point, that's a little bit confusing. I said, again, I'm assuming, but I don't think they want an exit sign on the outside of the house. So I'll take it up with Chief Miller.
Any other questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion from the board for a decision on this application.
I'd like to make a motion that we pass BZA 24005 for request by MI for a model home and parking lot.
And do I have a second?
Second that.
Second by Jason. Call the roll, please.
Sure, Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo,
Yes.
Mrs. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon, Mr. Sutton.
Yes. Thank you, and BZA 24-005 is passed. Thank you for coming tonight. And we have about 10 minutes for our next hearing. We'll start at 7 o'clock sharp, so we'll take a quick recess. Get you a break.
It's a separate hearing. It's a separate hearing, so Don, you can like just adjourn this meeting and then open the other meeting. It's kind of separate hearing.
Okay. All right. I adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Maybe I should put more money in that table instead of chairs.
We're never on the calendar. You say.
Right, and then
I didn't see that I started making. Justify.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Maybe I should
I don't actually have that all turned, but
There's this race coming up in March, April, called 16. There's like a bunch of different drag race tracks. You have to drive your car and drive it out. Normally it's a trailer. It's basically like a
the driving races?
No, not something like that.
All things are pretty good. Plus, it's like this. Natural fruits are so good. Really, I love sorbet. It's probably what I like about it most. It's the tropical stuff. You can set it. I just didn't want to be in the garage. No, it's not. I like to come in and see it first until the interior starts talking about it. But you go to tropical smoothie much? Well, there's one at 3637, like in front of Myers, and then they put that new one across from Kroger. And they even have like this, it's called a yogurt straw. So like you like smoothies. It kind of like softens. So and it's like they have them flavored, like there's vanilla and I think there's a lime. So to go with this. So it's like the whole thing, it's not just lime. The whole straw line. It's like a vanilla yogurt that's got a flavor. And then it like softens and then changes the flavor. And then it's kind of like a treat, like a little piece of candy at the end. But I mean, they're cute. I mean, they only have one size too, so it's a one like this size.
You know, I got those terms.
They have like lunch food there too.
I have. Some interesting, they also uses me. I'm not sure. We gotta represent the client. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we do without. I'll be so deal with the cleaning, it's all fireworks, and then as soon as it's all fixed, it's like, oh, we put on a switch. You ever had that happen to you? You just gotta say it the right way, because there's certain words, you know, do this.
For those buying mobile.
I saw it in my bag and I was like, and I left the short Am I
referencing your, against our friend, $1,000.
There's so many. Yeah, that one, okay.
One thing you can't report for students is
Very strict person, but. These are what I got as a look at. It's crazy.
I call the BZA hearing to order. We're here for continuation of the BZA hearing from February 6th, 2024. I ask everyone to please silence your cell phones and stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The zoning clerk, please call the roll.
Sure. Don Sutton,
Here.
Jason Acevedo,
Here.
Larry Harmon,
Here.
Brad Cook,
Here.
Michelle Cook.
Here.
Quinn Mockett.
Here.
Jessica Kinsley.
Here.
Thank you. I would ask that anyone who intends to speak or give testimony, please stand and will be sworn in by the court reporter.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you again to everyone for coming tonight. As I mentioned earlier, this is a continuation of the BZA hearings from February 6th. We're here tonight to hear additional testimony, gather additional information, and make decisions on several of the applications. At this time, I'm going to ask that the board join me for deliberations, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you. Lisa, I'm gonna need you to join us.
You want me to come?
What's your last name? Can you spell it for me? What year? I think you was last.
First name's Quinn, Last name's
Hang on, that's fast.
Mac.
Yeah. Couple years ago, when we did a drawing, I want to continue the street, underneath the street, I had and that's why I took so long to do that. Eradicated, and just migrated, and now I have 4 spots, and I'm now in the middle of And the whole swarm went after me, chased me back to the house. Before they left. They said, there's a target ready to party. It was. So you need some too? Yeah. You gotta do it before we wake up.
Yeah, they say like that, it's just straight from the country. I do. I was trying to see, let me drive. I don't know. Just so you know.
I mean, they gotta be migrating in and out.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty actually. I got in the morning and the next morning, like, wow.
So weird how one stone gave changed one thing there. And I went and looked in the state, there's some kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rest of it.
Like, great.
Yeah, I retired.
You know, something that we're.
Looking at that, you are.
Because the cases we.
Just go at,
He's not working as much.
It's just the cake maker.
No, they check for that. In the doctor.
you know, my daughter, I think.
Oh, I bet. Well, one's gonna have to.
So, one of the conversations that are,
Gotta call it.
is interested in venturing outside the
Talk to you, and I said, they asked me, why do I need to work?
I don't know. I had that one before.
You know, one year, do something.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Jesus.
It is one there.
You know,
Yeah, I'm going. Oh, yeah, yeah. 2-3 days, sure.
I mean, I think everybody is there, doesn't there? I mean, it was kind of.
No,
I think it was just.
we did.
We don't really ever get along.
She took him with her, he used to go.
For my.
Well, she could be the person, yeah.
I don't think it's that, he has any formal training at all. But if it's on. Can't put together.
Yeah, but that.
Which is fine. Oh, you're thinking of, I mean, Andrew's, he does have revenue. Hesitant to ask many things so far, and much more curious how much he goes through, I it's just based on what he's together and this was like a hour and a half, 10 bucks, under your time, it's all $45.
Part of the problem, I call us. I don't know what is an airport issue.
Just because of
They're trying to keep putting it up.
Well, I can wonder whatever.
I was saying,
This is, I'm not sure I understand the I'm just like, sit there for 5 hours.
Well, then you have some good stuff. Come back. Right now, if I'm not right, that's it. Then you have to learn what you're doing. Pause their work, save their question, pay your side, and then continue your work. And get previous test and start all over. Do this well.
It's all on the website. It's kind of, I mean, I don't know that either, there's.
No, just, okay, only, it's just, to do a website, do it full time. And to take articles that you see relevant to clients, that person, post these on to the Facebook account, and all these things. I would just do it to one because, but you have to actually go through that. And it doesn't that change the results. This is the nature side. Yeah, SEO is a rush. It's you know,
And I think there's some of those. Most of my cases are word of mouth. Things like that. What do you think? This is a wrestling website. You should have the presence. You should call
in the old days, we didn't have websites, we had brochures. You know, right before you even had brochures, we were just some law.
If you're not the expert.
Well, it's originalization.
Right, yeah, exactly.
If you're heading to the big nowhere. The question was, what is the website?
Yeah.
20 years later. Going through that, I think it's a great place to be on the all outside of the native.
I know, Christina, she did what's it called? Well, yeah, she did, but she's not. But it was.
That eliminated the possibility of exotic, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And then we're going more native.
You know what I mean?
Right, I mean, that was, yeah.
It wasn't a surprise.
Okay.
The surprise was
So look at this first.
I like it when
I received calls for over down the road, I'm not sure.
he got to promote it right away.
Yeah.
That's his.
You said you wanted Susan to hear about you.
It's a bad position to put her in.
Did you?
Right, there's nothing wrong with
When we were the department manager, we were very about to and that was that I should deal with people who are problems, and we should deal with what they wasn't accountable. You do all that stuff, you do the paperwork, they like that, I'll deal with
And I don't
people
know.
who are problems. One time, I was complaining outside, he was funny, I answered the door with a shotgun. What does that mean? I ignored the gun, just ignored the gun. And I used to get, we had actually got to go to the hospital. And the call came in, we had to go. So the guy, my friend came with me. And afterwards, you know, we just calmed the guy down. After we leave, he said, that was a really good. He pointed that gun at you. All you did was went like this and moved it out of the way, calm and everything. I said, it wasn't shocking what the hell that was. We were very good, like, well, we bothered everybody. He was upset because his neighbor was making too much noise, so he was hanging on the floor. Then he got his gun, and I mean, it was like, he didn't get out of his apartment, he just thought the neighbor was. So I tried to bring order to the situation. He would have the gun pointed at me, and I thought, get out of here. It was like we had a lot of sheriffs. It was that. Her argument was, we get to park in the fire with the sheriffs. And that didn't mean, I mean, my wife, we put the who them on their car. But one eventually became a client. Later on, I have things to convince you guys. No, your wife kept me on. And then if you gave my wife a hard time, I thought you better stop. And they'll have you arrested.
And so good that we got options on that. It was one of our colleagues struggled a little and we trusted him, and he won the highest round kid. So we hired him.
And, it was his first day, and I was concerned, but the guy, the supervisor, Chris, didn't want to live it up for us. The kids so next day, I go home, next day, second
It's really nice.
You're not working for us. And we got a call that there were helicopters, US Marshals at the property that was formerly at. Apparently, this dude, Sarah knew later. He went out to the child, found his wife, her brother or something. And apparently Chris snapped her brother 70 times. He did that several times. This is he was so nice, and I was so quiet. So and eventually a lot of no fire it's right above our bed. So Saturday, he gets up like it was like
So you get to look
He was being going heard, but he wasn't there, as if there was something else going on.
really like on a house that feels different. You so happy. Like
He never did recognize.
Our master's family. And the team goes and you put all her hours in and it's just. So you turn TV on. So we're like. I'm trying to get, into the basement. They're like scared to be done with themselves. I'm like, okay, like at 12 years old, this is gonna be like the perfect separation. You guys are just gonna be gone.
Well, half.
Yeah, well, that's sometimes. And then we had a walk-in shower.
I like fish.
We never use it. It was like. We're not sure what the election. Or we want. Like trim the shooting grass.
That's a kill guy.
And then you're aiming on
Whoa.
Yeah. It wasn't any show, it was relaxed, it was. And then when it opened, it was all back, which was great. But they put the switches behind it. So we had to open the door, and then we had to close the door. They took it down, and I this way, so we have full access to the switches. Basically just gonna move it over to the outside. So you had the shower, so the sinks, and then you close so we just kind of don't go over to the. So the kitchen is like. Pretty close to the house, but I have to. There's a pump out in the kitchen. It's dead space, so we have a table there for the kids. It's like a huge mess. Let's put a breakfast bar in the hall. To do that, our windows go. And I didn't want to take. I'm not taking the in the fall, that kind of shows.
My friends, who I still have friends. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you did it. We didn't know that going in, but that's why it was so fun. We talk about it. I don't pay attention. I mean, my wife. Because Amy's with me.
Yeah, I don't know.
She wasn't playing, she didn't go.
Oh, right.
You know,
I was getting in trouble last night. They told her.
or I just, yeah, it is. We've got, maybe time. Yeah.
There's those girls who were doing that. Or the same generation.
You probably can't get to it.
It's crazy.
I mean, I don't think anybody's.
Yeah. Well, the other
Records, so we just hope everything doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, that sounds like good. I'm already gonna go on.
If you can get to it, you can move it over.
Maybe there's.
What else is in the wall?
It would be a good story. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, it started off. So, yeah.
Did you get disinvited or?
Okay, so
No.
like a cabinet.
Did they-
So.
You're not gonna listen to me like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that in the basement.
Yeah.
So, cause I think that kitchen.
Yeah.
My house was. In the neighborhood house, near the house.
I'll tell you, it's like, it's one of my domestic cases. A month and a half in
Yeah, so it was
representation.
first.
On my, yeah.
You could certainly do something like that. It's to reduce the.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think it was kind of on the expectations.
Okay. So the philosophy. So if you go small, what else can you do this with? I was in my head, I was thinking, you're seeing a little bit like five doors. And they sell. Cabinets where they have the doors on them.
What's my investigation? Just, how that's. Tony about one case where they did the field. No offense if you're in that camp, but I think that's more than I didn't know how to do the grocery, she was trying to get her real estate. In charge of the fund line. Guess what? I'm messed up. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take you 6 months ago, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what attorney thought it was a good idea, that you should be hiring your ex-spouse as a term for like a 2-year period. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Business card. So they're very great. 3 years later.
They're in that area.
Well, the whole problem. I'm gonna get all this money and I'm just gonna go and then he keeps telling me.
Our sergeant, he has
It's still going on now.
But there's no school.
It's like although they're in region.
Yeah.
You can watch
It's like the right piece.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. Little still.
You want to place right down the street.
Okay, thank you again for coming this evening, and we will continue with our hearing. I would ask the board for the motion that we discussed previously, the deliberation.
I'd like to make a motion to rescind the vote on applications 24001 and 24002 to gather additional information and clarification.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Herman? Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Sargent?
Yes.
We're going to start with BZA 24-001, BZA 24-001 request by Berlin Industrial LLC, TNR Properties Inc., 3895 Stonebridge Lane, Dublin, Ohio 43015, CO West Barwell LLC, 475 Metro Place South, Suite 430, Dublin, Ohio 43017, for a use variance. This property is known as 4120 State Route 37 East, Delaware, Ohio, parcel 418-21002004001. The variance is for the purpose of permitting the following conditions: parking 126 spaces per building for total spaces, loading 12 docks per building, and NAICS 493 industrial warehousing. We're also going to hear BZA 24-002, BZA request by Berlin Industrial LLC, TNR Properties Inc., 3895 Stonebridge Lane, Dublin, Ohio 43017, CO West Barwell LLC, 475 Metro Place South, Suite 430, Dublin, Ohio 43017. For an area variance, property is known as 4120 State Route 37 East, Delaware, Ohio 43015, parcel number 418-21002004001. This variance request is for the purpose of permitting the following conditions: parking 126 spaces per building for a total of 500 spaces. loading 12 docks per building, and an NAICS 493 industrial warehousing. So we voted to reopen those two applications, or to rescind the previous vote. And now we're reopening those two applications for further testimony and hearing. So I would ask, have you been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, we did that. Okay, I just want to make sure. So of our applicants, just had a few more questions that we wanted to ask for clarification on these two applications. What was the use of the land at the time? Please state.
What? I'm sorry. What was the use of the land at the time?
What's that?
What did you say? The use of the land at the time?
Just repeat your question.
Yeah.
Tom. She didn't catch. Repeat your question.
So, yes, my question was, what was the use of the property at time of purchase? And if you could state your name for the court recorder.
RJ Sabatino, with the applicant 3895 Sturbridge Lane, Dublin, Ohio 43017.
Benjamin Zacks, attorney on behalf of the applicant.
Have you been sworn in?
No, because I'm an attorney, and so I'm not presenting evidence, I'm merely making a record of the proceedings.
And what's your name?
Benjamin Zacks, as last time, same person who was here last time. Okay, that changed my name. It's the same as it was.
I don't need an attitude from you tonight. I'm just asking a question.
I understand, and I'm stating on the record the objection to the proceedings for a long deliberation after basically a 2-week recess, and then deciding to, rather than continue the hearing, which is what we expected, for you to actually now rescind and to ask questions that were already testified to previously. With that, my objection is stated, and we'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you for having us. Again, we're back after 2 weeks. The answer to your question is the same as it was at our previous hearing 2 weeks ago. So it was rezoned for under the BIO cloud.
What was it used for before? That was the question. When you purchased it.
What's the current zone, or what was the previous zone?
No, it wasn't used.
Yeah.
What
What
did the previous owner use it for?
farming?
Good.
And then we made the decision to proceed with our application, knowing that Berlin Township put into place all the economic development incentives as well as the BIO cloud overlay as a means to attract industrial warehousing development.
So the land was used for agriculture, farming when you purchased it. What is it currently being used for? Let's say what was it used for last year?
The use hasn't changed.
And what was that used?
I've already said it, yeah. Farming.
Yeah. And moving forward, could that land still be used for farming?
If
Objection
you
to
like-
relevancy in terms of the question, but if you know, I mean, you're speculating. So.
If you want to condemn the land, yeah, it can continue to be used as farming.
Other questions from the board?
So when you purchased the land with the BIO that's in place, that you've made mention to, were you aware that NISC code 493 was not in the BIO?
Among a variety of other errors and mistakes.
The question was,
That make the land undevelopable, including the lack of the NAICS code 493 for housing and storage, the incentives, the discussions that we've had with the board, with the pre-application meeting, public and public hearings. Berlin Township wants economic development, wants industrial development, and to make that happen, warehousing and storage needs to be included. That's my
so that's
answer.
your personal opinion that it needs to be included?
That's my factual statements, and that's my answer.
But did you buy the land knowing that 493 was not in the BIO?
I can't keep repeating the same answer.
Well, but
It's the
it
same
wasn't
answer, it's the
clear.
same answer.
Could you give us a yes or no?
I'll give you the top.
Objection, you can't require the witnesses to testify the way you want them to. You can ask them questions, and he's answered the question. You have to stick with that answer, that's the record.
Okay,
We've, for this industrial, BZA, we've provided all the evidence that we know to be viable and to give you all the information you need to vote. So, I mean, vote. We know that industrial warehousing and storage makes good 493 is requirement for any industrial development. We had expert testimony of the same. It is what it is.
did any of the trustees bring that up to in any of the meetings that the 493 NAIC code was not in the BIO?
I don't understand the question.
Was it brought up in any of the meetings, be it the overlay board, the zoning board, or the trustees? Was it brought up to
Again,
your attention?
all of the errors and mistakes in the BIO overlay were discussed, and it was our representation from Berlin Township's us, Berlin Township's representation that they wanted to work through those mistakes.
I think there was a mistake, apparently in the parking where they fit the minimum maximum. I haven't seen a plethora of mistakes. You're kind of implying that everything that isn't addressed is a mistake. And that's why I asked last time whether there was any other information on that zoning code, because it was addressed. I went back through the notes with the trustees and the zoning.
For the parking.
And no, parking was a mistake, it appears, but there's not. I don't see a whole plethora of mistakes all through this. We can't assign everything that's been a mistake if there's one perhaps we're aware of. This one sounds like it's been discussed at great length. That's why we have to weigh it kind of seriously.
Okay. And there is discussion on the BIO that any type of zoning is always continually changing and having updates to it.
Exactly.
So the trustees and the township are looking at adding other codes. Currently, that code is not even on the discussion.
Well, that's inconsistent with,
Is that testimony about you talked to them to know that is the
I did
current
not.
state?
There is on the
That's
website without, for public knowledge, that there are addressing, plus I think it was brought up last meeting, that there was going to be addressed in the BIO.
Okay, so you're just doing that based upon public knowledge and information. You've had no separate communications from that last meeting to this meeting with the trustees?
No. The trustees meeting, I think last week on Facebook, they had talked about adding additional zoning NAIC codes. There was a list of codes and their discussion why they would want to bring a code or not bring a code to the BIO.
And was that discussion something that you're relying upon today in making your decision?
No.
Okay.
I'm going under what the BIO has today.
More questions?
Additional questions from the board?
Have you considered any other uses with NAICS codes? Because there's like numerous other NAICS codes that are available beyond 493 in the zoning, the current zoning.
We've had our expert testimony, you know why we need warehousing and storage 493.
And then there was also, on your original application dated 1/12 of 2023, you had NCAIS code 236210 on that application when you applied for the Article 19 BIO.
I don't have it in front of me.
Would you like to see a copy of this?
We can.
Could you tell what that code is for? subject matter because we don't remember the numbers.
I don't remember either, so let me,
And the testimony that you heard from Brian Marsh with JLL, Michael Ballmer with Arcadia 2 weeks ago. It's a requirement to have warehousing and storage. People are gonna come back and go through this process. It's economic condemnation.
industrial building construction is what 236210.
What were we approved for?
I don't see anywhere in any of the information that I was provided that you were approved for anything.
Is that what we were approved for everything? Yeah, okay.
I mean, because you brought up the parking spaces last time, you brought up the dock doors, and I couldn't find that when I went back through where those have been approved by.
The site plan was approved with 12 dock doors per building.
Right, the position that they took last time and the testimony was all that the site plan was approved. So all of that information that you are parsing out of the site plan to make a point was approved when the BIO was approved by the site plan. That's the process that Berlin has to try and expedite the process, particularly when you're talking about the development within a business park. Just like you wouldn't have a business park where you would then say, we're gonna leave it agricultural use. Makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean, no further testimony from us. Evidence speaks for itself.
Any further questions from the board on those two applications?
Nope, we're,
Can we just take 1 second so that we could, your site plan is the BIO industrial architectural review. That's what you're citing as the site plan?
Site plan is the site plan, like the sheet over there against the wall, that was the evidence that was presented to you at the BZA hearing previously, and it's the site plan that was approved.
So for 24-001, our decision needs to be based upon, for use variance needs to be based upon undue hardship. Unnecessary hardship occurs when it is not economically feasible for the property to permitted use under its present zoning classification due to characteristics unique to this property. Unnecessary hardship does not exist unless the property is unsuitable for any of the uses permitted by the zoning resolution. I would ask if someone from the board is ready to make a motion to grant or deny this variance, this use variance.
I'm gonna make a motion to deny the requested use of TZR Article 1903 to permit the use of the property for industrial complex, which was the NAICS code 493 industrial warehousing. For a couple of reasons. One, there are numerous other NAICS codes, I think, that can be used. There's over 100 from my account. And I know that it's currently being used as prior uses as farmland, not saying that that's what you would use it for. And considering that the application that was submitted was for 236210 and not that NAICS code 493, which is not listed in our NAICS code listing for the zoning. Considering all of those factors, That's why I make my motion.
I'll second the motion.
And I'm sorry, which application? That's 001.
That's for 24001.
Okay. Okay, and I'm sorry, who seconded that, Jason?
He made the motion, I
Oh,
second.
Jason, okay. Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton?
Yes. So the BZA 24-001 use variance is denied. And do I have a board members ready to make a motion to grant or deny the area variance for 24-002?
Well, on 24002, one element, so I want to make a motion to approve the parking. And reason for that is, given the confusion in the actual zoning code, and what we saw in the actual design documents. Looks like the format of what was done allowed us, as I recall, you had the parking behind, you had the parking in the front, and then you had the docks behind, so they were out of view, right? So I'm making a motion to grant the parking spaces in the requested area variance against that requirement of the 120,000 square foot buildings. And the applicant will show variance from contrary to public interest.
Second.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton?
Yes. And do I have a motion on the loading dock spaces?
I will make a motion. I make a motion to deny the loading dock variance. I know TZA requirements for 120,000 square foot building is 2 per, and this request is for 12 per, which is a substantial variance. And as one of the factors, it is a substantial variance from what was originally requested. And such being, I'm suggesting a motion for denial.
Second.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
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 Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
And Mr. Sutton?
Yes. motion?
That was five votes, right?
Excuse me?
I just didn't see it. I was writing notes. That was 5 votes.
Yes.
To deny the 12, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion on the NAICS 493 industrial warehousing? I can make that one if you want.
This is a 24002.
Use variance.
24002.
Yes.
This is not dissimilar to 24001. One's a use versus an area variance. This is the use variance. Correct.
Correct.
2 is the area variance.
Two is the area variance. So, I would make a motion to deny the request based on the same information that I provided on 24001, which is there are a number of other NAICS codes, numerous NAICS codes that can be applied to the use of this subject property. And in addition to that, in the application, NAICS code 236210 was used, and 493 is not currently in our current zoning code.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Seven?
Yes. BZA case 24-002 is granted on parking spaces, denied on the loading docks, and denied on the NAICS 493 industrial code. At our previous meeting, we began hearing on 2 other variances. One's a use variance, one's an area variance, and I'm just going to read them into record again tonight. It's a continuation of that hearing. BZA 24-003, BZA 24-003, request by Berlin Apartments, LLC, TNR Properties Inc., 3895 Stonebridge Lane, Dublin, Ohio, 43017, CO West Barwell, LLC, 475 Metro Place South, Suite 430, Dublin, Ohio, for a use. The property is known as 4120 State Route 37 East, Delaware, Ohio, 43015, parcel number 418-210-200-5001. This variance request is to permit the following conditions for multifamily for rent development: density of 6.97 units per acre and 296 multi-for rent units. And parking, 1.5 spaces per 1-bedroom unit, 2 spaces per 2-bedroom units, 2 spaces per 3-bedroom unit, resident parking of 532 spaces, guest parking of 92 spaces, and total parking of 624 spaces. And BZA 24-004, BZA 24-004 by Berlin Apartments LLC, Tino Properties Inc., 3995 Stonebridge Lane, Dublin, Ohio, 43017, TOS Barwell LLC, 475 Metro Place South, Suite 430, Dublin, Ohio, 43017, for multi-area variance. This variance request is to permit the following conditions for multifamily for rent development: density of 6.97 units per acre and 296 multifamily for rent units, and parking of 1.5 spaces per one bedroom unit, 2 spaces for 2 bedroom unit, 2 spaces for 3 bedroom unit, resident parking of 532 spaces, guest parking for 92 spaces, and total parking provided of 624 spaces. So we did have our hearing and evidence from both our applicant and from some township residents. I would ask, since we are reopening the hearing, is there any additional questions from the board? I do have a few questions. Could you please tell us what the property was zoned as when you purchased the property? What the use of the property was at that time?
The same as it is right now, and again, that was purchased with the representation of Berlin Township wanting economic development, wanting housing, multifamily housing at our pre-application meeting, and also through our township public hearings, as well as the economic development incentives that were put into place by the township.
And what was the use of the property at the time you bought it?
I think it's on the application. The current zoning.
Could you just please answer the question for the record?
Clarification, you're asking for what the zoning was or what it was being used?
What was the use of the property when it was purchased?
What is it? Farm?
Whatever that was being used for.
Where is it as
Unused. land.
Yeah, just square on the map. Unused
With
land.
the red circle around it.
Yeah. And what was the use of the property in 2023?
My answer is the same.
Could that property still be used for agriculture?
If you want to condemn the property and never have your BIO overlay, which is, I mean, again, this is inconsistent with everything that Berlin Township's done, putting the overlay into place, putting the economic development incentives in place. And it's a shame that the county invested the lift station as well as the Delco for the water tower. I mean, it's never going to be used.
I'm just asking you because of use variance, we have to determine if there's unnecessary hardship. I can read this again for you. Unnecessary hardship occurs when it's not economically feasible to put the property to permitted use under its present zoning classification due to characteristics unique to a property. Unnecessary hardship does not exist unless the property is unsuitable for any other use permitted by the zoning resolution.
Is the overlay not a characteristic of the property?
Excuse me?
Is the overlay not a characteristic of the property?
In addition to the economic development incentives.
Are those not characteristics of the property?
I'm asking.
Yeah, what we're saying is
questions
that they are.
What we have to look at as the BZA board. We're not here as the Board of Zoning Commission where we can change uses of the property.
Could you identify yourself again, please, from last time?
Sure. Josh Nagy, attorney. Yeah, TNI. Just trying to get clarification for your question. Are you saying, I guess I'm trying to understand, is that a characteristic that you are looking at, or is that not a characteristic that you're looking at? That was the question.
My questions are based off the Berlin Township zoning code.
Trying to narrow down what you're.
And how we have to base our decisions for the application that you have before us.
Yes, and based upon the characteristics of the property, which are the overlay of the economic development incentives, that Berlin Township put into place and Berlin Township has solicited and represented us, yes, this is confirmation. Unless you vote yes for our variance request.
But right now, it's FR1, correct?
Correct.
And the overlay would provide R4.
Yeah.
FR1 subject to the overlay, so it's sort of an asterisk FR1.
But on your application, it is going from R1 to wanting a variance of 0.97 units per unit, is that correct?
We're applying again, we've been through this a lot, we're applying for PRD, much like, I mean, we just heard the board say, there are many errors that make the BIO unworkable. We apply for PRD zoning for this with a density variance of 6.97 units.
I think we said there was one error that we found.
You said there
Didn't
was
say many errors.
Okay, you said that there were errors.
And we got that point, you beat it to a dead horse.
I know, that's why I'm confused.
But the question, you are applying for your variance is going from R1 to 6.97 units per acre. Is that correct?
FR1 with the R4 BIO, because.
So the BIO calls it out as it could go to an R4.
Go above the water.
It could, but it's not workable.
Well, but that part of the BIO is an R4, if you're using the BIO. But that hasn't been rezoned.
And, yeah, and the
But
BIO.
the quick process was under for the BIO.
The BIO for the reasons of our expert testimony and everything that I'm saying, and everything that was said 2 weeks ago by Skip Weiler and Randall Woodings is why the BIO doesn't work and why R4 doesn't work.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
So just to clarify, you were saying you were using PRD definition to come up with the density.
We're using the PRD because if we were to use the BIO, it would require even more variances than would be required under the PRD. Based upon the errors and mistakes in the BIO.
Board is going to take a short deliberation and we'll be back shortly.
No, I don't have to run this time.
I really want to get that one. I'm sure there's just a copy. I just want we did, I'm just letting you know, I wasn't saying anything, but I think I'll get that.
I can say it again.
We got it. I just letting you know, I wasn't thinking about it. At least I was planning to tell.
Yeah.
I didn't really do much of it. I think we just a little bit more, I think we require it because it's no longer that requirement. Over that is no longer zoned to be farmland, because it was rezoned. It was rezoned, and that one was, the industrial was granted. I know what I'm saying, it's no longer considered.
That's what it is.
And then you can, should a volcano someday become something other than a volcano? Yeah, you could.
I have a puppy. Yeah, there was a girl. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, it's crazy.
His hands are too small.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. Yeah, I'm giving him a control and stuff.
Yeah.
He has to drive his. She still has like some accent. She was so old, or she was in there for so long. But she seemed like she's like lots of people. Yeah. She's still like squeezed. Yeah, good. Now, so occasionally they'll come up and then she'll be like, she's so sweet, she's a nice dog ever. She'll be like, sometimes, but only when they want to come with an extra long time, they're all allowed to couch, unfortunately. It's a very small couch and I have to move where I'm working and move to the very end, right? So then there's space on this part. It's crazy, but sometimes one will jump up and then she'll agree, but normally they're all still pretty good. I try to when they're up there, Arizona''s the worst, but like if I'm petting him and they all want to like with him. So sometimes the baby and there's a cycle and it's like crazy though, because a month so like when we regulate, I'm like, I know, and then cupcake is just like one, but she's being usually I notice it's a pain, but it's not a lot, it's focused actually. But then all of a sudden, my wife doesn't, remember for 5 days, I was trying to push you. I feel free. That's how, and then, I was successful for someone else. And then it was, and I was like, is that because it was or would she just stop? She's like, swear. Too long. Because they're just really over.
Yeah.
So I tried to choose, but the problem is I tried to test it. So, because North Bend, all the time. Plus, I have everything. Yes. Yeah, sometimes they, not. So he's over there. Because sometimes started off the flashlight. We didn't have the market. And but we were waiting for the point where the thing and then yeah, but then there's so many that I guess it's
The worst thing to me is going to time
yeah, so I'm waiting so then I see one snipping at edges of the back door, the things that pop open, the pop up thing, with a blanket, and then I see someone over there sniffing. Yeah, I know, so there's steam, you know, so I think. Oh, it's horrible. It's been a mental. Today, I last night was up in the second, I'm like, you know, last night. And, he was, I understand, I'm like, what if he's crazy overnight? And I don't want that to be what it started. He was a little bit crazy till 3 in the morning. I was up, I didn't go to bed till 1:15. And I only eat 6.5 hours a day. Yeah, usually, but, oh my God, sometimes read, I'm like, I'm never gonna get sleep. And then he's jumping out the bed, I know. And so she's in the bed. And then I remember even this. Like I should hold, and she's in the bed, but she's upstairs. She might not know. And he's walking like that, he gets his stuff, and I was like, I'm trying to, I'm just trying to be more. I was like, lose my mind, and then they're all anxious. So I took all the, I'm like, this is terrible. What are they gonna do? So I took all 5 on a walk, take someone else in, and then he'll start fighting her. I don't want to engage you. I feel exposed to I feel like even now she's listening to them and she's bad numbers. She'll the other dog likes them. And then all the agitation and I don't want that to happen. She's trying to find out. She's so you know what? No, because that's permanent. Like my daughter hates my sense of humor. They were fine for a while because they never played with Donut play. One day, Donut, the chat scratched. And so now every time she hears Donut was cool. So they get each other for one. They didn't let me get home until 6:30, so I had this, he's never been cool. So I got, and a blanket, so it smells like ants and food. So I put pan on ginger and Brian put it just throw it away, because they haven't been in for a while, I can't recall. It's too crazy. But when they were little, I brought 4 of them. But they were stressed out, and everything, a little bit stressed. Yeah, it does, exactly. So, but, so I said, it's part of the trip. So he went to visit his cousin, Hayden's told has a money, and it's another one. He went to visit that one, and then another one. And those people have the same dogs. They took Quinn, and then who's the second dog? There's three guys in Oakland, they got that one. He was freaking out, like, the whole way the car trip, and this is when he was only 16. And he was that kid, I know it was vacation, so I think once I told him, I want to explain, he's already, it says he's nervous, but I thought, well, we can just bring him back. Yeah, but next time.
You go to the drive-through.
It doesn't matter how much. And then. I know the dogs, and that's so funny, because they're all like people, all friendly, they like, some people don't know they're funny, but if you like dogs, then they'll come over and whatever. So they love to see people, they're super friendly, even donut, that one's one gets a little snarly. He knows if he goes home, then people get stopped, but he doesn't actually get bited. But sometimes, they're also sweet and friendly, and they love people, so I wanna make sure they keep that. And I can imagine. This is like 3 days, I guess, over his family, his friends, and they keep him home. And that's what's the whole,
It's just like, here you go, how many? Yeah. Alright, what's my total?
I can just do it maybe, I say, maybe like a, but. Was like 2 weeks before I almost 30 months old, so that's a big conversation.
Yeah.
So that's when they start, when she's like,
Yeah.
yeah. They're done rough. That's fine too. So then they're fully grown. She's white, fluffy, and she's but she seems confident, like, she doesn't rumors, and so maybe it's part of it. She's very, like, she's going for it. They could run across the street and so I went out there and I was like, they're calling me, hey guys, and where they didn't run. They let me put, that's almost as though they knew I have no fire. It's only 30 inches, a little kennel fence, goes all the way around because that's the neighborhood's. Oh God, you know, like the woods, you guys know the woods over there. You can't have a car because even now I have them all on my camera, they're crazy now, so, and it's muddy. So they have to look at it, but I need to do something, nothing else matters. I was gonna check, what are those crazy, no, he has reports, there should be.
I would ask if the board is ready to make a motion on BZA 24-003.
I would like a motion to deny BZA 24-003 due to the applicant has not shown undue hardship because the land has continued use, or the land could be used to follow current zoning under the BIO of R4.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton?
Yes. That's your paper, Michelle. So application number BZA 24-0033 has been denied the use of variance from TZR Article 7.03 to permit the use of the property for multifamily for rent development. Is the board ready to make a motion on 24-004?
Yes, sir. I make a motion to deny BZA 24-004, based on the fact that the proposal is a significant, substantial increase in the density based on status quo and the overlay. The title is being employed. It also impacts the character of the neighborhood significantly. And there are other uses for the current use within the agricultural realm or a different plant. It's infinite possibilities. But at this point, the unit density per acre remains at one single family dwelling per 1 acre parcel. And the parking spaces remain at 4 parking spaces per single family residential unit.
I'll need your motion separately on the two items there.
On the parking and on density, the motion to deny both.
Deny
Both.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton?
Yes. So, BZA 24-004 is denied the requested area variance from a density unit per acre in PDR 7.03.a is denied. The unit density per acre remains at one single family dwelling per 1 acre parcel tract or lot per TZR requirements. And also denied is the request that area variance from the parking spaces requirement in TZR 24-01 is denied. The parking spaces requirement remain at 4 parking spaces per single family resident dwelling. The next application we'll hear is BZA 24-005, request by MI Homes of Central Ohio LLC, 4131 Wharton Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43.
That's what we did first.
You want number 6?
That was the move.
Here.
Thank you.
6 and 7. 006.
Which one did I say?
You said 5.
Okay. Now, let me start over. BZA 23-006, request by Berlin Industrial LLC, TNR Properties, POS Harwell LLC, 475 Metro Place South, Suite 430, Dublin, Ohio, 43017. Appeal of the decision of the Berlin Township Board of Trustees on application BBP 23-001. Property is known as 4120 State Route 37 East, Delaware, Ohio, 43015. Parcel number 412-100-200-40001. The applicant asserts that trustees improperly imposed promulgated conditions upon the development plan and improperly considered the applicant pursuant to Article 19 of the Berlin Township zoning resolution. So I will make a motion that the jurisdiction of the BZA is located in the revised code 519.14. That section does not provide authority for the BZA to hear or decide an appeal from a decision of the Board of Township Trustees. Thus, this motion should be dismissed. Thus, the motion should be to dismiss the appeals for lack of jurisdiction. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sutton?
Yes.
Mr. Cook? Okay, Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Oh, that's, sorry.
That's
BZA 23-006 has been dismissed because of appeals for lack of jurisdiction. Our last case is our application tonight at BZA 23-007, request by Berlin Apartments LLC, TNR Properties, CO West Harwell LLC, 475 Metro Place South, Suite 430, Dublin, Ohio, 43017. Appeal of the decision of the Berlin Township Board of Trustees on application BZ 23-003, the residents at Berlin Township. The property is also known as 4120 State Route 37 East, Delaware, Ohio, 43015. Parcel number 418-210-200-5001. The applicant asserts that the trustees improperly denied the development plan and improperly considered the application pursuant to the Article 19 of the Berlin Township zoning resolution. I make a motion that the jurisdiction of the BZA is located in the revised code 519.14. That section does not provide authority for the BZA to hear or decide an appeal from a decision of the Board of Township Trustees. Thus, the motion should be to dismiss the appeals for lack of jurisdiction. Do I have a second?
Mr. Sutton?
Yes.
Mr. Herman?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
And Mr. Cook?
Yes.
BZA case 23-007 is dismissed for the appeals for lack of jurisdiction. I thank everyone for coming tonight and everyone for the time in these hearings. BZA meeting is adjourned.
Huh?
Last time I thought the chair was making my neck hurt. I
couldn't even sleep till like 2 a.m. that morning. My head was so, I was so
I woke up
exhausted.
the next morning and like, it was
Right?
It was still so exciting.
It was stressful.
All my questions. Thank you. No, I know, I know, I'll chat amongst each other. We could be.